Welcome to Trending Tidbits. Today we're looking into something kind of spectacular, awe. You know that feeling of being like totally floored by something vast and mysterious? Well, we've got a ton of research to unpack on just that.
Yeah,
But get this, we aren't just reading about awe. We're actually looking for ways to maybe hack it. I don't know about you, but I'm already kind of geeking out about that.
it's pretty intriguing. I mean, there's a surprising amount of science behind awe. Even though it seems so fleeting, we're going to be exploring, how it's triggered, all its potential benefits, and even some downsides, too. It gets pretty wild.
Okay, so before we get to the hacking part, we got to start with the basics. What is awe exactly? I mean, we know it when we feel it, but how do the researchers actually define it?
You're right, it is one of those things that's easier to experience than to explain. But researchers, Keltner and Haidt specifically, have identified two key elements: vastness and accommodation.
Vastness makes sense, like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon,
Yep.
right?
Exactly, but it's not limited to just physical size. Vastness can be anything that expands our sense of scale. So a complex scientific theory, like relativity, can be just as awe-inspiring as any natural wonder.
So anything that makes you feel kind of tiny in comparison.
In a way, yeah. But the second element, accommodation, kind of adds another layer to it. It's that mental scramble when something just totally shatters our existing understanding of the world. Awe makes us go, wait, what? And then try to make sense of it.
Wow.
It's like realizing that the earth isn't flat, right? It breaks your old view and you have to rebuild your understanding.
Oh, yeah. Like that time I finally grasped the concept of infinity. Mind blown. But here's a question that bugs me. If awe is about feeling small and insignificant, why hasn't evolution just gotten rid of it? Shouldn't feeling powerful be more advantageous for survival?
That's a great question, and it's one that has puzzled researchers for a while. But there are a few compelling theories out there. One is that awe of powerful leaders or natural forces might have kept groups unified for survival. Like, don't anger the leader. They have the power of the volcano gods on their side. It relates back to that feeling of vastness.
Ah, so awe could have been an early form of social control. Interesting.
Precisely. Another theory is that awe actually boosts our skepticism. Studies show that feeling awe makes us less likely to be swayed by weak arguments. So this could have been vital for navigating complex social situations and avoiding manipulation. Think of it as a mental defense mechanism.
So awe isn't just about oohing and eyeing. It sharpens our minds, too. I like where this is going.
Absolutely. But perhaps the most fascinating theory is awe's link to self-transcendence. It has this remarkable ability to shift our focus from, me to we. It really fosters a sense of connection and promotes prosocial behavior.
Like when you stand under a truly massive starry sky and your problem seems smaller and you feel more connected to, like, humanity as a whole.
Exactly. And there's actually research to back this up. Studies have shown that awe increases generosity in economic games, and people become more willing to help others after seeing awe-inducing nature scenes. It seems like awe could be a key ingredient for a more compassionate and cooperative society.
Wow, okay. Awe is way more profound than I initially thought. Most of us associate awe with nature, but are there other things that can trigger it? Besides staring at giant trees, I mean.
You're right, nature is a big one, but the research shows a surprising variety of awe triggers. For example, while nature is definitely powerful, it's the first-hand experience that matters most. One study found that being in a grove of towering trees triggers a much stronger awe response than just looking at pictures of them.
That makes total sense. You can't capture the scale and grandeur of a mountain range in a photo. You have to be there to really feel it.
Precisely. And here's a twist. Awe doesn't have to be pleasant. Threat-based awe is a thing, triggered by volcanoes, tornadoes, or even vast, dark, ominous scenes. It raises the question, does negative awe have its own benefits?
Whoa, okay. So awe isn't just about, like, pretty sunsets and cuddly animals. It can come from a sense of danger or unease, too.
Exactly. And the research is still developing in that area, but it's a fascinating one. Another source of awe that's less studied is spiritual and religious experiences. Those moments of profound insight, deep connection, or a sense of the divine can definitely tap into awe.
I can see that. Those moments where you feel a sense of wonder and mystery beyond your everyday understanding, almost like a glimpse into another dimension.
That's a great way to put it. Now, are you ready for something truly mind-blowing? The overview effect.
Overview effect. I'm all ears.
So astronauts who've seen Earth from space consistently report profound awe. This experience of seeing our planet just suspended in the vastness of space triggers a massive shift in perspective. They describe feeling interconnected with all of humanity and a renewed appreciation for Earth's fragility.
It's like you're literally seeing the bigger picture, and it changes your whole understanding of your place in the universe. Incredible.
What's even more mind-blowing is that technology might give us a taste of this cosmic awe. Researchers are studying the simulated overview effect using virtual reality. An early study suggests that VR can replicate some of the awe response astronauts report.
Wait, so we might be able to experience the awe of space travel without even leaving Earth. That's wild. But I'm curious, does everyone feel awe equally?
Yeah.
Or are some people just wired for it?
That's a great question. Research suggests certain factors influence how prone someone is to awe. Personality plays a role, and unsurprisingly, openness to experience seems key. This isn't about being extroverted or introverted, but about being receptive to new ideas and willing to revise your worldview, which links back to accommodation.
Makes sense. If you're clinging to your existing beliefs, it's harder to have your mind blown by something new.
Exactly. Now, here's a finding that might surprise you. Research has shown that people from lower social classes tend to report experiencing awe more frequently than those from higher social classes.
Really? That's counterintuitive. Why would that be?
One potential explanation is that people from lower social classes may be less focused on individual achievement and more on community and connection. This could lead to a greater appreciation for things bigger than themselves and thus more frequent awe experiences.
That's fascinating. It challenges the assumption that awe is only for the privileged few. It suggests it might be more accessible to those who already see themselves as part of something larger.
Precisely. And culture plays a big role too. Research shows significant differences in how often people report feeling awe across cultures. One study found that people in the US reported feeling awe much more frequently than people in Iran.
Wow, that's a huge difference. What could account for that?
Well, it could be due to various factors, cultural norms around expressing emotions, differences in values, or even just variations in what triggers awe in different cultures. Even something as seemingly personal as awe can be shaped by society.
This is so interesting. The more we dig into the research, the more complex and nuanced awe becomes. But let's get to something you, the listener, are probably curious about. The effects of awe. We know it feels amazing, but does it actually do anything?
You bet it does. Awe has a whole range of fascinating and surprising effects on our bodies, minds, and even our behavior.
Okay, I'm hooked. Give me the details.
Well, first off, awe gives you goosebumps. And not just the kind you get from fear, studies show that awe is one of the top triggers for goosebumps, or what scientists call piloerection. And here's a fun detail. Researchers have even distinguished between goosenteals, the positive kind of goosebumps associated with awe, and cold shivers, the negative kind associated with fear.
That's so cool. I'm definitely a goose tingles person. What else does awe do?
It makes you feel less self-important, and that's a good thing. Awe shrinks the ego and makes us realize we're not the center of the universe. It helps us see things from a broader perspective and connect with something larger than ourselves.
That's incredibly beneficial, especially in today's world where everyone seems so self-focused.
Absolutely. And there's even preliminary evidence that awe might reduce inflammation in the body. One study found that awe was uniquely associated with lower levels of inflammatory markers. This is early research, but the potential implications are huge, considering the link between inflammation and various health problems.
Whoa, so awe isn't just a mental and emotional experience. It might have tangible physical benefits too.
Exactly. And here's another fascinating finding. Awe can make us feel like we have more time.
Hold on, more time. How is that even possible?
I know, it sounds crazy, but research has shown that people who feel awe experience a sense of time abundance. This leads to greater generosity and a preference for experiences over possessions. What would you do with more time?
Oh, so many things. Travel, spend more time with loved ones, learn new skills. It's like awe gives the gift of time, both literally and figuratively.
And that's not all. Remember, awe is linked to self-transcendence. That shift from me to we translates into real-world actions. Studies consistently show that awe makes us nicer. We become more helpful, generous, and ethical after experiencing it.
This is blowing my mind. So awe isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's a doorway to a richer, more connected, more awesome way of being.
You got it.
All right, listener, we've covered a lot of ground here in part one. Before we jump into how to actually induce and cultivate awe in our own lives in the next part, any closing thoughts?
Just remember that awe isn't just something that happens to us. It's something we can actively seek out and cultivate. The research suggests it's well worth the effort. So as we head into part two, keep that in mind. The power to experience more awe is in your hands.
I love that. We'll be back in just a bit with part two. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Trending Tidbits. All right, so we've explored what awe is, why it matters, all that good stuff. Now, let's get to the how. How do we actually get more of this in our lives?
Well, we've talked a lot about nature, and for good reason. It's like a giant free awe generator. Even in a city, there are parks, gardens, maybe a glimpse of the night sky if you can escape the light pollution. Make time to be in those spaces. Don't just scroll past pictures on your phone.
That's so true. It's easy to forget the power of just being in nature. Sometimes a simple walk in the woods is all it takes to just completely shift my perspective.
Absolutely. And remember vastness, one of the key elements of awe. You can find it in unexpected places, like visit a museum, spend time with art that challenges your understanding of beauty, read a book about a scientific concept that blows your mind, seek out things that make you feel small in the best way possible.
I love that. It's like training our minds to recognize vastness in like everyday experiences. We don't have to wait for a trip to the Grand Canyon.
Precisely. And pay attention to those goosebump moments. That's your body saying, hey, something awe-inspiring is happening. Those moments might be fleeting, but they're valuable clues about what truly resonates with you. So, lean into those experiences.
Be more mindful of the things that trigger awe, even the small and unexpected ones. Got it. But what about those times when you're stuck in a rut and awe feels miles away?
Mhm.
Any tips for those moments?
Absolutely. Try consciously shifting your perspective. Literally. Look up. Gaze at the sky, tall buildings, trees. Research suggests that even the simple act of looking up can induce awe and a sense of the small self. It helps us break free from our usual, limited view of the world.
Such a simple yet powerful idea. Just changing our physical perspective can change our mental and emotional state. We're definitely going to be looking it up more often.
And don't underestimate music and art. They're incredible tools for inducing awe and wonder. Seek out music that moves you, art that challenges your perceptions, performances that leave you breathless. They have this unique ability to tap into our emotions and expand our sense of what's possible.
Yes. Sometimes a piece of music or a work of art can just transport me to another world. It's like they unlock parts of my brain and heart that I didn't even know existed.
Beautifully said. Speaking of unlocking parts of the brain, have you heard about using technology to induce awe? There's some really exciting research happening with virtual reality.
Yeah. We talked about the overview effect and how researchers are using VR to simulate that. Are there other ways VR is being used to cultivate awe?
Absolutely. VR allows us to experience things that would be impossible or impractical in real life. Swimming with whales, flying through a nebula, walking on Mars. These immersive experiences have the potential to trigger profound awe and wonder.
It's like VR gives us a glimpse into infinite possibilities.
Oh,
I know, beyond our everyday experience. The future of awe could be even more awesome than the present. But are there any downsides to awe?
that's a great question. Awe is generally considered a positive emotion, but it's powerful. And like any powerful force, it can have unintended consequences.
What kind of downsides are we talking about? Give me an example.
One is that awe can sometimes make us feel overwhelmed or even like disoriented. Remember, awe challenges our understanding of the world. And sometimes that can be unsettling. It's like our brains are trying to catch up to what we're experiencing, and that can be mentally and emotionally taxing.
Like that feeling when you're standing at the edge of a cliff and suddenly realize how vast and empty the world is. Exhilarating, but a little scary.
Exactly. Another potential downside is that awe can sometimes lead to a sense of insignificance or even nihilism. If we're constantly confronted with the vastness of the universe and our smallness, it can be easy to think that nothing we do really matters.
That's a good point. Awe can be a double-edged sword. It can inspire us to live more meaningful lives, but also make us feel lost and directionless if we're not careful.
Exactly. It's all about finding a healthy balance. Cultivating awe without letting it overwhelm us or diminish our sense of purpose and agency.
So awe is a powerful tool that we need to use wisely. Approach it with curiosity and caution. But I'm still curious. We've talked about external ways to induce awe, like nature, art, VR. Is there a way to cultivate awe from within?
That's a fascinating question, and one that we don't have a definitive answer to yet. But there are practices that can help cultivate a sense of wonder and appreciation for the world around us. Mindfulness, gratitude, even just slowing down and paying attention to the small details of life can help us tap into that feeling.
I like that. We can train ourselves to be more awe-prone, even without external stimuli, learning to see the extraordinary in the ordinary.
Exactly. Who knows, maybe the most powerful awe-inducing experience is the one that comes from within, the awe of simply being alive and conscious in this vast and mysterious universe.
That's a beautiful thought and a perfect place to pause for now. We'll be back with part 3 to explore some of those mind-blowing research on awe and leave you with final thoughts on making awe a more consistent part of your life. Welcome back to Trending Tidbits. We're diving into the final part of our awesome exploration. And I'm excited to see where we go from here. We've talked about what awe is, why it matters, how to trigger it. Now let's get into some of the mind-blowing research happening in this field.
Yeah, there are some fascinating studies out there that really shed light on the more nuanced aspects of awe and its effects. One area that researchers are particularly interested in is the connection between awe and the brain.
Brain stuff. Always a good time. What have they discovered so far?
Well, it's still early days for neuroscience research on awe, but one study found some intriguing differences in brainwave patterns between people who did and did not experience awe during a simulated spaceflight. Those who felt awe showed brainwave activity associated with, get this, reduced fatigue, less distraction, and greater attention to the awe-inducing stimulus.
So awe actually tunes our brains to be more receptive and engaged with the experience. That's incredible.
That's the idea. Another study using fMRI found differences in brain activity when people viewed a more awe-inspiring image, like Earth from space, compared to a less awe-inspiring image, like deep space. This could be partly due to the visual complexity, but it suggests that awe might involve distinct neural pathways in the brain.
That's fascinating. Makes you wonder if we could one day develop ways to specifically target those pathways and enhance our ability to experience awe, like imagine an awe supplement or something.
Haha. That's a really interesting thought. Imagine a future where we have awe-inducing therapies or even awe-enhancing technologies. It might sound like science fiction, but who knows what's possible?
Okay, I'm officially mind blown. But let's shift gears for a moment. We've been talking about awe in a very individualistic context, but I'm curious about its potential impact on society as a whole. If awe makes us nicer, more generous, more connected, could it be a key to creating a better world?
That's a big question, but definitely one worth exploring. There's a growing body of research suggesting that awe might indeed have the power to transform society. Remember how we talked about awe's ability to promote prosocial behavior? Well, imagine if we could cultivate a culture of awe, where people were regularly exposed to awe-inspiring experiences and encouraged to embrace those feelings.
That's a beautiful vision. If you could all tap into that sense of wonder and interconnectedness, maybe we could overcome some of the division and conflict in the world. It's like awe could be a global unifier.
Exactly. Awe has this incredible ability to break down barriers and unite us around something bigger than ourselves. It reminds us that we're all part of something vast and mysterious and that we're all in this together.
I love that. Awe as a reminder of our shared humanity. It's a powerful message, especially now. But let's be realistic. How can we actually create a culture of awe? It's not like we can just snap our fingers and make everyone feel awe all the time.
You're right, it's not that simple. But there are things we can do to foster a greater appreciation for awe. We can start by prioritizing awe-inducing experiences in our own lives and encouraging others to do the same. We can support institutions that promote awe, like museums, art galleries, national parks, planetariums.
Those are all great ideas. And maybe we can even advocate for policies that protect our natural wonders and make them more accessible to everyone. After all, nature is one of the most powerful and readily available sources of awe.
Absolutely. And we can use technology to our advantage, too. Virtual reality has the potential to bring awe-inspiring experiences to people who might not otherwise have access to them. Imagine creating VR experiences that allow people to explore the depths of the ocean, the vastness of space, or even the microscopic wonders of the human body.
That's incredible. We can democratize awe and make it available to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. What an amazing thought.
Exactly. And I think that's a really powerful and hopeful idea. We all deserve to experience awe, and the more we share those experiences, the more connected and compassionate we become.
This has been such an incredible journey. I feel like I've learned so much about awe and its potential to transform not just our individual lives, but society as a whole.
I agree. It's been a truly awe-inspiring exploration.
Well said. And thank you, listener, for joining us on this awesome adventure. We hope you've been inspired to go out and cultivate more awe in your own life. Remember, the world is full of wonder, and the power to experience it is within your grasp. Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and stay awestruck.